Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. This is the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society group with a mandate to promote good governance, participation and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adelbi Obiabumo and I'm with Esther Bassi.
Welcome to the program. We are streaming live on Facebook at Official PRIMOG, that is, at Official PRIMOG. And PRIMOG is spelled PRIMORG.
On Public Conscience on Radio, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of corruption stories reported by our partner media organizations and drawing citizens and government's attention for democratic actions against it. We also promote integrity by focusing on rare cases of the display of honesty by public and private individuals in the course of their normal activities. This program is supported by the MacArthur Foundation.
Today we will be looking at the reports on how electricity consumers in Nigeria are being ripped off by power distribution companies, DISCOs, through estimated billing. New electricity consumers in Nigeria are being ripped off by power distribution companies, DISCOs, through estimated billing, despite a policy stating that all new connections must be accompanied by meter. Investigation by Daily Trust revealed.
The conversation today is popular and affects many Nigerians. You will hear how DISCOs flagrantly flout regulations of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) and shortchange new electricity consumers through estimated billing. Also, the tariff band methodology deployed by DISCOs has turned out to be another source of cheating on electricity consumers who do not get commensurate power paid for. Worse still, NERC, the regulatory agency, appears as helpless as the consumers. NERC has done little to stop the criminal extortion going on nationwide. The conversation today will educate you and I greatly. We would want to know your experience with electricity supply where you live or where you are doing your business. Are you aware that new electricity consumers are supposed to be metered at the point of connection? And what do you know about the tariff clarifications for electricity consumers in Nigeria?
Be ready to join us through phone and text messages in the course of the conversation. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message is 0902 265 6167. That is 0902 265 6167. Please indicate your name and your location when sending your message. This is for messages only.
Please begin to send your messages as soon as possible to 0902 265 6167.
Two separate investigations by the Daily Trust and the International Center for Investigative Reporting (ICIRO) recently indicted DISCOs of flouting government policies which insist new electricity consumers must be connected to a meter and not on estimated billing, and also the false promise of regular power supply due to faulty tariff bands.
I must mention that the investigations were conducted as part of the Regulator's Monitoring Program, RIMOP, of the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism. And just to let you know, Nigeria has 11 electricity distribution companies, DISCO. They include Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, Benin Electricity Distribution Company, Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, Jos Electricity Distribution Company, Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company.
And not forgetting Kano Electricity Distribution Company, Eko Electricity Distribution Company, Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company, Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, and Yola Electricity Distribution Company.
And I must also mention that PRIMOG is worried that the end of estimated billing of electricity consumers in Nigeria is not yet in sight. PRIMOG also took painstaking efforts to see that some residents of Peggy community here in the FCT were metered in 2019. Back then, I must say, the cooperation we got from AEDC was commendable. I must also mention that.
For a better understanding of these investigations indicting DISCOs of cheating customers, we have ICIR reporter Ihoma Chiedozie and the director Nigeria Electricity Consumers Advocacy Network, Uket Obong, in the studio.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
But Daily Trust reporter Chidima Okeke is joining us via the phone to shed more light on the investigations. Chidima, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Could you give us an overview of your report and shed more light on how discos rip off new consumers through estimated billing?
Okay, actually my story looks at how those rip off electricity consumers connecting both new and old premises to electricity through estimated billing methods. In spite of the provision that, according to NEC, that they must provide meter at the point of metering any building. This is contained in the Schedule 4 of the Connection and Disconnection Procedures for Electricity Services 2007 regulation of the NEC. And it says customers must be metered at the point of connecting electricity to their building. But the story found out that this law is being drafted by the discos. And then the projected outcome of this was just to ensure that consumers are aware of this regulation that makes it lawful for them to be able to connect it, especially when they have a new premises.
Okay.
So it also intends to draw the attention of the regulator, which is NEC, to the practice of these discos. That's just what the story is all about.
Okay, so what was the methodology used during your investigation? Which areas did you cover and how many discos were involved in the cheating spree?
Okay, the investigation was conducted across 5 states to the SCT, which is Kano, Enugu, Ikeja, just the SCT. And while the report was going on, because of the insecurity in town, what I did was I used the Dozy investigation method, whereby I used reporters on the states, across states, to help me gather the survey. I was able to send them questionnaires, so that they're able to give out to customers across those states, while I covered that of SCP and part of Nasarawa. So this is the method we use. And then the target locations of the report was across Abuja, Warepa, Karo, Chupei, Marabanu, Karo, Nianya, then Jostown, Just South, Kano Town, Ngogu, Kombusu, and Enugu Town, Osuka,
So in
Kenya, and
these places that you covered, you found out that the residents were extorted through estimated billings.
Yes.
Wow.
So did you get any response from discos or NEC before your investigation was published?
Of course, they responded. Even the discos also spoke on the issue. So the discos did not deny that the fact that they do not give meters to customers during connection. They however said that the current national mass metering program that they've been able to improve the installation of meters. And the NEC on its part said that it was also monitoring the discos against such infractions, and noted that it's also reviewing the national mass metering program as well, and that the meters affect providers in order to harmonize them and then speed up metering processes. So there's no way of this without them. Actually, the story was a big delay because you have to wait for the reaction.
Okay. Thank you so much for your efforts in bringing up publishing this story, your investigation. It's quite revealing. Thank you so much. If you're just joining us, you're on to Public Conscience, a production of PRIMOC, the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development. With us in the studio, we still have Ihuoma Chiedozie, a reporter from the International Center for Investigative Reporting, and Mr. Uket Obong, who is the director of Nigeria Electricity Consumer Advocacy Network. You're welcome again to the program.
Thank you very much.
You heard what Chidima Okeke of Daily Trust just said, estimated billing in all the states that she covered during her investigation. But let me quickly get to ICIR to know if it is a different story or if it is the same. Okay, could you tell us about your report and what do you mean when you say band methodology or tariff classes for electricity consumers?
Okay, yeah. The story had to do with the band methodology which was introduced by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission for the DISCOs, that's the distribution companies. It is the current pricing arrangement whereby electricity consumers are supposed to pay cost-reflective tariffs that are determined by the level of electricity supply they receive from the distribution companies. Now, under this band methodology, we have different bands. Consumers are classified, either consumers are placed on band A, band B, band C, band D, and band E. Now, band A consumers are those who are expected, who are promised to receive at least the minimum of 20 hours of electricity each day. Then those on band B get 16 hours.
20 hours of electricity each day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Band B consumers are to receive 16 hours. That's the minimum. Band C, 12 hours. Then, but what you should also understand is the higher band, if you are on band A, which is the highest band, you are paying higher for electricity. And you are paying this based on the belief that you are getting service, you are paying for the services you received. But the investigation found out that those who are on this band A, mostly, they are not getting that 20 hours of electricity each day. But even though they are not getting that required minimum of electricity supply, the DISCOs, that's the distribution companies, are still charging them based on that promise that, okay, you people are supposed to get 20 hours each day, so we are charging you based on that promise. But they are, so it's more like ripping people off because they are being shortchanged. It's like you were promised that, okay.
Promised that I would pay a certain amount of money because I would have 20 hours of power supply, yes. And at the end of the day, I don't get that.
And yet you are still paying more.
And I'm still paying.
And there's nothing being done to like reverse that or maybe have a redress whereby maybe you are brought down to a different band, which maybe will now be commensurate with what you are actually getting as electricity supply. So at the end of the day, we found out that the DISCOs are actually ripping off the consumers. And the unfortunate thing is that most consumers don't know. They are not aware of what is happening.
Some consumers are not aware of what is happening. Mr. Oketubong, you are a consumer, and you also speak on behalf of consumers. So how would you react to these investigations, and what is the significance of the reported rip-off on Nigerians? Talking about the report by the ICIR and that of Daily Trust Foundation, Daily Trust newspapers.
Well, thank you very much. Well, my reaction to the reports which I have read, I think you forwarded them to me and I read through, is a welcome development. It's the two reports highlights what we already know that is going on, that there is massive, and I repeat, massive fraud going on in the power sector. Now you are talking of cost-reflective tariff, and I've said it over and over and over again in various fora, that cost reflectivity in terms of tariff today in the Nigerian electricity supply industry is hypothetical. Pure and simple.
What do you mean by that?
Now, considering the environment we are operating, we are talking of a market that you don't have data on who is there. How many Nigerians are in electricity? We don't know. How many Nigerians are in electricity? We don't know. If I may take you back, in 2005, second quarter or third quarter report of NBS, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, put the population of Nigerians in electricity or households at 8.92 million. In 2006, National Population Housing Census put the population of households in electricity, lighting, distribution by lighting, at 10.4 million. But come down to the 2012-2013, when the privatization was done by BP and others, they brought down that figure from 10.42 million to 5.2 million. And you go into MITO 2.0, which was amended in 2012, or to cover 2012 to 2014. They now came up in that document of NEC that the overall population of a subclass of Arrow 2 was 7.062 million. How do you reconcile that? Until this moment, nobody knows how many households or Nigerians are in electricity. And that is where the discos are hiding under, because they have refused to carry out the order of NEC to conduct a nationwide customer enumeration. And I don't know what is difficult in conducting nationwide customer enumeration, which is the key. We are talking of revenue shortfalls. We are talking of liquidity in the power sector. And yet you don't know the number of people that are paying. ANES, Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, their spokesman, Sunday Oduton, he came up some time ago to say they have 25 million Nigerians in electricity, but they have only captured close to 12 million. Then you go to NEC itself, to the website, and they are telling you that there are 10 million. You can see what is going on there. So they are not the same. So this, until we get it right in terms of the accuracy of data, we are not going anywhere. That is why I'm telling you that no, even if you increase by 100% the current tariff rates, the next minute, next month, the discos will complain.
By MITO, I think you mean a multi-year tariff.
Multi-year tariff order. And the frequency of change. The frequency of change of this MITO is crazy. It's getting on our nerves. Okay, the MITO part, the energy part in each MITO has a span of either 10 to 15 years. Like the one they just amended, the 2015 MITO, which came into effect on the 1st of February 2016, covers from 2015 to 2025, 24, so 10 years. But no longer was that, as soon as that thing came on board, there were complaints. And in each MITO and demand for tariff increase, they are always telling you the silver bullet for the problems in the power sector is tariff increase. I am telling you here, it is not tariff. I am telling you emphatically that it is not tariff. Why? The discos came on board, and the federal government during privatization set up a body called Nigeria Electricity Liability Company that was saddled with the responsibility statutorily to collect all post pre-privatization debts or monies owed to the defunct NEPA and PSCN. But what happened? The discos went ahead and collected these monies. Did they account for those monies? It was after they had exhausted these collections, they began to shout. In 2016, they talk of liquidity in the market sector. How much did they collect? Who has bothered in this country? The regulator, the government, who has bothered to investigate into what? I cite an example. Somewhere under Benin Disco, when you have a logistic complex, a local government in a Delta State, they were being forced to do what? To pay 587 million owed by the defunct Alaja Steel Complex to NEPA.
And nobody's investigating.
And now, because of that, the whole local government of 49 communities, 45 communities, they took out 39 communities. Until the report came to us and I went to that worry. And when we got there, we discovered that the 587 million they were talking about was the debt owed to NEPA and PSCN by Alaja Steel Complex. And they were not forcing the indigents of that community to pay. Until we came down here, wrote to BP, went to NEC, and they made it sounded on Benin Disco that it was not their responsibility to collect those debts. So those are the things that were going on, are still going on. When you're talking of indebtedness, you're talking of estimated billings, yeah? They sit in the offices. Estimated billing in itself is not bad if, and only if, the discos were complying with what they call estimated billing methodology, which spelled out in clear terms how to go about it. But the failure was as a result of the discos and TCN or system operator to market to mount meters on the various feeders and the distribution company to meter every distribution transformer.
So what you're
these
saying
things were not there.
Estimated billing is not wrong.
Listen, don't get me right.
They go by the methodology.
There is nowhere in the world, in electricity, you don't give room for estimation of bills.
But
ours here, estimation became an aberration. It became the rule rather than the exception. It was entrenched because the disco saw it as the low-hanging fruit. the low-hanging fruit.
Because
Now they come sit in the offices and write anything they can give to you. We conducted a survey some time ago in 2018, somewhere in Kebbi State and Sokoto under Kaduna Disco. And we sampled men who lived in an estate. And in that estate, it was a 2-bedroom apartment estate, majority of them. And these were people whose estimated bills were 15,000, 20,000, 12,000. But when they had meters, they could hardly consume 5,000.
I want to assure you that once we open the phone lines now, you get the myriads of complaints of those.
This is what I am telling you now. Now, they write out these bills and give to people, and these bills are not realistic. And now you sum up all those things and you say they are owing you. You say the people are owing you how? Who has done debt verification?
Okay. We'll get back to you, but let's get to Ihuoma Chibuzi.
Ihuoma, so what part of the country did you carry out your own investigation?
Okay, the investigation centered mostly around the areas under AEDC, that's Abuja Electricity Distribution Company. Okay. Abuja, parts of Nasarawa State, parts of Kogi State, especially particularly in Lokoja. I went to Lokoja. Then we also visited parts of that's Niger State, Suleja.
Okay, so where the complaints, was it did it vary, so it was similar?
Yeah. From the responses I got on the field, I observed that one, the consumers are not getting the level of electricity supply that they were promised by the distribution company, and beyond that, they are also not aware of which tariff band they have been placed on.
Okay.
Then another problem we also observed was that despite the fact that they are being ripped off, they don't know any means or any channel through which they could get redress. Yes.
Okay. So you're saying that there is knowledge gap, and there's no provided complaint desk where they could channel their complaints to.
It is not that there's no provided complaint desk, but I think the problem is that they have not been made aware of where they should go to. Yeah, because I know that even the Electricity Regulatory Commission has platforms where maybe consumers can come to air their grievances. Okay. And even the distribution companies also claim that they have such platforms. But the problem is the consumers have not been informed about these platforms. So the consumers seem to be in the dark. They don't know where to go to complain.
Okay.
And somehow, some of them are also not aware that they are being ripped off, especially using the band methodology, because if you don't know that you are supposed to get 20 hours of electricity each day, so you will be paying, not knowing that you are being cheated.
Okay, so you made mention of some of them not knowing the criteria they are being placed on.
Yeah, the bands.
Okay, the band. So what is the criteria for putting people? What should you do to be placed in a particular criteria?
Yeah, now from my own understanding, it is a sort of an arbitrary arrangement, because the distribution companies are the ones who are classifying.
Is it by area?
But it is mostly based on, of course, the more highbrow areas where you have more infrastructure and more development. Let's say within Abuja, places like Maitama, Gariki, Usetu, Asokoro. Those are areas where you see most of the band A consumers.
Those living in Asokoro,
let me comment. See,
please go ahead.
Service-based tariff methodology you are talking about here is a validation of the evil that the disco started doing somewhere in Enugu Disco, where in areas like Nnewi, Onitsha, Oka, part of Imo State, where you have Onitsha industrial clusters,
yes.
You understand? They will sell their daily allocation of power, energy, load, sell it 100%, then bring that energy straight to these factories and industries, whereas the rest of the communities in the east will be in darkness. The report came to us, I went there to investigate. And at the end of the day, they will now, when these companies or factories begin to roll their machines from 7 o'clock a.m. or 6:30 a.m. till 10, Then after 10 p.m., they will now give whatever is left, distribute this one 2 hours, this one across it. Then at the end of the day, they will still print bills and give to these people to pay. Whereas they have sold this to these industrial concerns.
Okay.
So when we started complaining, this is called LEGTO. Simply put, and for Nigerians out there, service-based tariff is simply wheeling and supplying electricity to consumers they consider viable, that they can collect their monies from. Now, the bans of band A, 20 hours, band C. The question now is that who is monitoring? Who is determining whether this is going on? Nobody. NEC has no capacity.
We'll get back to
To
that,
do that.
but we need to open the phone lines now. Esther.
Okay. But before then, please follow us on all our social media platforms at Official Primorg. Primorg is spelled Primorg. Remember that we are streaming live on Facebook at Official Primorg.
And remember that the program is interactive. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message to is 0902 265 6167. That is 0902 265 6167. How would you react to the conversation? What is your experience with electricity supply where you live and where you're doing your business? Are you aware that the new electricity consumers are supposed to be metered at the point of connection? What is your experience on estimated billing? Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, my name is Oyebo Practicable. I am speaking on behalf of Abuja Electricity.
You're welcome. Let's hear you. I'm sure you've listened to all that we have said in the studio, the reports by Daily Trust and ICIR.
Great communication, so I'm listening. Thank you for sharing the information with me. I think it's important for us to get facts right. Now, one of the two principal issues are up for discussion this morning. One, the issue of banding of tariff. Then the other one is the issue of metering of customers. Now, let's take the issue of metering of customers first. Now, the report or the investigative report claimed that there is a regulation that says customers should be metered at the point of connection.
Yes.
There is no doubt.
Is that false?
What did you say?
Is that correct?
Whether it is correct or not, let's say we leave the correctness. Let's look at the practicality of what the situation on ground. Now, if you say you are not connecting customers as they apply for meter, as they apply for connection, and the customers go and connect themselves, where will the disco get the money to pay for the energy that has been consumed by the customer? That's one. Two is the fact that even if you have all the meters that all customers require today, you cannot meter all of them today. Number three, discos don't provide meters. They don't supply meters. There are people that have been licensed by NEC to supply meters. Number four is the fact that even customers themselves, or put in another form, the current metering program, which admits of customers paying for the meter or customers getting it through the National Mass Metering Program, is also addressing the issue of metering. So to now make it seem as if this goes and number five, there is even provision for estimated billing as a regulation. You cannot say in one breath that customers are being put on estimated billing, and then in another breath say that customers are being ripped off. They contradict themselves.
Okay, Fadipe, if you can hear me, those on estimated billing,
It's not illegal.
you have said it is not illegal, but those on estimated billing, do they pay commensurate amounts for the energy supplied?
We are discussing a different issue entirely, but let's get to that of the metering. Now, whether they say something commensurate or not is a matter. NEC designed a table that Discos are following. Discos did not design the table, and that table was designed after rigorous research on what should be the average billing. It's not that discos did not produce the estimated billing it was produced by them.
Okay, Mr. Fadipe, can you round up in 30 seconds, please?
But now that's the point I want to make, because if I go into the issue of the banding, it will be, I won't explain it in 30 seconds.
Oh,
That's the point I want to make for now. Thank you.
okay, thank you. But just know that we would reach out. In the last phase of our project, we reached out to AEDC, and they really worked with us. We had some level of success. So we'll still reach out to AEDC and other discos when we get complaints from our listeners and then from Nigerians. Hello. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Haruna Balarabe from Nasarawa, Altabale.
Let's hear you, Haruna.
This Nepa Altabale, we don't meter that what they were doing, we don't have much, but what they are bringing bills to us. Why is like that?
Okay, thank you so much. No light, and then the bills keep coming. Please respond.
Yes, quickly to what Fadipe said of AEDC, the head of the communications department of AEDC. He said it is not the responsibility of discos to meter customers. That is not true. It is provided for, and it has not been amended, except it's going to tell us when their vesting contract was altered. It is the responsibility, the primary responsibility of distribution companies to meter their customers. Failure to do that for whatever reason they have banned it all of, from the beginning is what led to the NEC coming up in 2014, what they call CAPME, Credit Advance Payment for Metering Implementation. When the discos were saying, oh, we can't meter, yes, we admit, we accept it is our responsibility to do this, but we lack the capacity to do that. Then CAPME came on board, Credit Advance Payment for Metering Implementation. I can tell you authoritatively that there are people who pay for meters. It may not be within AEDC, but in other discos. And of course, he's not competent to talk outside what he knows that goes on within AEDC. We cover the whole country. We receive complaints from all over the country. I can tell you authoritatively, there are some discos where Nigerians have paid for meters since 2014, 2015, and they are not been metered up to this moment.
Okay.
That's number two. So number three, he said it is the duty of meter asset providers. These are people that came up. MAP came up in 2018 here or something like that. That's when MAP came. And what is MAP set to achieve? Quickly, what is MAP set? Encourage the development of independent and competitive meter services in the NESI. 2. Eliminate estimated billing practices in NESI. 3. Attract private investment in the place. Close the metering gap. But all these things have been put in place because of the failure of the discos to carry out their statutory responsibilities.
Hello.
My name is John.
Where are you calling from, John?
I'm calling from Qatar, but my complaint mostly surrounds the area.
Go ahead.
I'm actually having a problem with electricity, the meter. I don't know if I can still talk on this program.
The numbers to send your text message or your complaint to is 0902 265 6167.
So we have a message via Facebook, and he said the general public, like the general feeling amongst Nigerians and electricity consumers, is that people pay for power that they never use. I do not think it is okay to say people don't know. People know and have been screaming about it. Stephanie Adejoke Henry.
Hello.
My name is Emmanuel.
Let's hear you, Emmanuel.
Okay. It is never what you are getting to saying it's totally true. We pay for meter. Since 2019, it's dead. They have given us meter. We don't complain. We don't write. I so they tell us stable right. What the NEPA is good for people, but it's not here. In 2019, we pay for NEPA.
Okay, do you have a pen there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just keep listening. I'll call out the number to send a text message to. Okay, the number again is 0902 265 6167. 667. Ihoma, you're smiling. What do you have to say?
Well, I understand the frustrations of the people, because even at a point I had a personal experience where I stayed in a place which was a meter, which we were paying through estimated billing, and we paid for a meter, but we waited for a very long time, and somehow, I don't know, but towards the time they eventually brought the meter, the estimated billing kept increasing. Like within the space of 2 months, what maybe the bill comes to like 12,000, we got to this point where it was getting to 40, 50,000, and it became
A duplex?
Yeah, just a duplex, but not a duplex, a bungalow with maybe 3 or 4 different apartments.
Were you doing some
No, nothing.
business?
Just the same situation.
Just residential?
Yeah, residential.
40,000?
Yeah. And so it got to the extent that we said, okay, we are no longer using lights.
You disconnected?
Yeah, but of course it was at that period that they now brought the meter.
All right. Hello?
Adere Isaac Taiwo.
Let's hear you, Isaac Adere Bibi.
The God of Peggy would have forgiven you if I didn't get through to the program today.
Go ahead.
As much as we want to appreciate the platform given to customers to amplify the short changes and the fraudulent activities in the electric distribution with the electric distribution company, and the complicity, the seeming complicity from NERC.
Yes.
NERC wants to be the watchdog to this distribution company, will give a ruling, and the ruling is not adhered to, is not obeyed by the distribution company, and there are no form of sanction or respite to the customers. Sanction to the distribution company who erred, and respite or compensation to the customers. A ruling of NEC forum in favor of our community since 2018, November 2018. We have written reminders to NERC, FCPCC. Nothing has been done. Even to AEDC. Mr. Fadipe, of course, is doing his job, always on the defensive side. But it is unfortunate that over 20 million naira invested by residents of Peggy resettlement in Kuje Area Council. No reform has been made. The part of the ruling from NEC Forum was that a proper enumeration of residents should be done.
Okay. Wrap up in 30 seconds, Taiwo.
Yes, ma'am.
30 seconds, please, wrap up.
30 seconds, I will want Mr. Fadipe to be invited, and we will not give up. We will always show the path of legality. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Adere Bibi Taiwo. We have a message here from MC Yom from Lube, and it says, honestly, why is Mr. Fadipe on the defensive? Nigerians expect him to work on the information. We are paying more than enough, please. He also said 1,000,001 complaints. Honestly, Nigerians are not happy with AEDC. They need to step up. I paid for a shop every month, but they don't give me bills. And I have requested several times, but to no avail. Thank you for your text messages. Keep them coming.
Please, can I say something?
Please go ahead.
Yes, on estimation. Estimated billing, there's a regulation, on estimated billing, there's a regulation which I have here. They call it Order Number NEC 197 of 2020. And it is called Transitional Capping of Estimated Bills. Transitional capping. A cap or ceiling has been placed by NEC, and each disco, you have Abuja disco, all the 11 discos, they are here. For instance, where are we? This is Gariki 2, this is Gariki, or let me take, yeah, Gariki. A customer in Gariki, Arrow 2, who does not have a meter in Gariki, they said he must not be billed more than 330 kilowatt hours or units in every month.
But our citizens are aware.
Now listen, in cosmopolitan cities like in Abuja here, you give it to AEDC. At least AEDC is adhering to this. But step out of AEDC, go to these distribution companies. Last year, 15th of December, we held a program in Kaduna, and we were shocked to note that this was discarded. Kaduna was thrown away. They were just writing anything they feel like. given to. Until when I projected this on the screen, and the people that filled the hall, they saw. And people were running around to go and bring their bills. And we saw that. So it is compliance. This is there. NEC has done its work. But what NEC is lacking is the ability to enforce compliance.
And
Come and monitor what these people are doing.
Ability to enforce compliance and monitoring. There's another fax message here from Omosogi from Asokoro Extension, and it says the way AEDC they charge 10,000 and now 12,000 for just 2-bedroom apartments. When we ask for meter, they will say different thing, and they want us to pay. Could you also, don't worry, we'll reach out to you, Omosogi. We'll do our best to ensure that you get your meters. We've worked with AEDC before, like I said, and we would also continue to work with them. Mr. Fadipe and his team, they really collaborated with us at that point in time, but would still continue since the challenges are still obtainable. We'll do what we can to ensure that you get your meter. Poma Chiedozie, what will be your next line of action as we wrap up? Because our time is almost up.
Okay, the next stage of we are still on the investigation, because we keep on monitoring to see whether the NEC will come up with a more effective means of allowing, enabling consumers to get redress. Because from all indications, I'm listening to the spokesperson of the AEDC. It looks like the discos have no plans to maybe make a change. They seem to be adamant on their position. So the hope is that going forward, NEC, that's the regulator, will somehow find a means to make sure that the discos are put on their toes, and that maybe the consumers who are being ripped off get to have redress, and maybe there will be justice.
Okay.
But as they,
justice for consumers.
Yeah, but on our own part, we keep on monitoring and reporting on what is happening.
Thank you. Uketubong, your last word in 30 seconds as we wrap up.
Restructure NEC, make it to be more functional, remove all the guys who are there. For us in electricity and among we know that the current NEC will target a captured regulator. Captured. And I'm saying it on radio. I've said it every other forum. Until you get the right kind of people who are willing to help Nigerians, who are patriotic, who do not put their self-interest above national interest, until that is done, we will continue to be in this mess. Because when you make rules and you are unable to enforce compliance and sanction those who breach the rules, then what is the essence of all this thing? NEC is not just about to be rolling out orders, regulations, which they cannot enforce, which they cannot monitor, which they know that there are 177 of them here in Abuja to oversee the whole country of 200 and something million.
All right, thank you. We should restructure NEC. The conversation will continue. This discussion will not end with just this episode of the program. We will give AEDC and other discourse as well as NEC opportunity to respond to all the issues raised in our subsequent episodes of the program.
Please visit the news page of our website. It is primognews.org. That is primognews.org. For all the details of our reports and interviews, visit our website www.primog.org to get all the information about Primog.
And you can watch our videos on Primog TV, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. We sincerely appreciate our guest, the Director, Nigeria Electricity Consumer Advocacy Network, Uket Obonga. Thank you so much for being on the program.
You're welcome.
The ICIR reporter, Ihuoma Chiedozie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And to our Daily Trust reporter, Chidima Okeke, we sincerely appreciate you. She spoke to us via the phone. And we also appreciate the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, under whose project the Regulators Monitoring Program, REMOP, this investigation was carried out. Public Conscience is supported by the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, verdant and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience. And remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Official Primog. I am Esther Bassi.
And remember that you can give us information or hints about Corrupt Act through our phone 0902 265 6167 or info@primark.org. If you have any complaint with regards to metering, kindly send a text to 0902 265 6167. I am Adaobi Obiabumo. Stay safe.